Okay, so you found it. A new job, a new town, the perfect house. It's a fresh start. But for one family, this dream scenario turned into a nightmare they couldn't possibly have imagined. Let's talk about the house in Igatpuri.
Our story kicks off with a young man named Jay. He was really, truly desperate for a fresh start for his family, and he stumbled upon an opportunity that seemed almost too good to be true. And as he was about to find out, it absolutely was. You know, after a long, frustrating job hunt, just filled with rejection after rejection, Jay was really starting to lose hope. But then, a lifeline. A friend referred him for a job in this small, kind of charming town called Igatpuri, and it looked like everything was finally about to change. And he got it. With a good salary and a beautiful new town to call home, Jay and his parents made the call. They were gonna move, leave all their struggles back in Nashik for good. So they start looking for a place, and the house they found was perfect. I mean, it was spacious, it was in a lovely area, and the rent was unbelievably low. It really felt like their luck had just completely turned around. But here's where things start to get weird. The first signs of trouble weren't, strange noises or some ghostly figure in the window. No, the first warning came from the living. Can you imagine moving into a new neighborhood just full of hope, only to be met with this wall of silence? Nobody spoke to them. The neighbors would just stare. The family felt completely isolated. And that hostility from the living, that was only the beginning. Every single evening, like clockwork, the neighborhood animals would just react with sheer terror as they passed the property. Dogs would howl, cats would scream, but only at their house. It was this chorus of fear, a warning that the family just didn't understand yet. Right, so that unnerving atmosphere, it started to manifest in these terrifying physical ways. That creepy feeling of being watched was about to become the feeling of actually being touched. The terror began to pick them off one by one, with each of them experiencing their own private horror. Alone in the kitchen, Jay's mother felt an icy, unseen hand on her back. His father woke up from this nightmare vision of their room just crowded with silent figures. And Jay himself, he woke up one night gasping for air, literally unable to breathe. Something was deeply, deeply wrong with this house. Then it escalated. Jay was physically assaulted by an invisible force while his parents were sleeping just a few feet away. Can you even imagine that? That frantic, silent struggle in the dark? The terror was now undeniable. It was physical. And this is the moment everything changed. He was jolted awake not by a feeling, but by a physical blow to the head. And as his eyes snapped open, he saw a figure fleeing his room. So adrenaline just floods his system and he runs after it. He gets to the living room, and there, under the dim light, the source of all their terror was finally just waiting for him, sitting on their sofa like it owned the place. And it wasn't human. The description is pure nightmare fuel. This thing had a completely vacant, white-eyed stare, coming from a figure with wild, tangled hair. Jay just let out a scream of pure, unadulterated terror. He didn't fight. He didn't even hesitate. He just bolted out the front door and collapsed on the street outside, the fear completely overwhelming him and sending him into unconsciousness. When Jay wakes up, he's in a hospital. And that elderly woman from next door, the one who had only ever given them a single small smile, she finally broke her silence. And her warning was terrifyingly direct. Leave this house now, or you will die. And then she revealed the home's horrific past. So it turns out the history of the property was just this awful cycle of death. It all began years ago with a violent, fiery murder, and that violence, it never left the land. The curse wasn't random either. It followed a horrifyingly specific pattern. 16 families. And this finally explained the neighbors' silence. It wasn't malice, it was absolute terror. They believed that even speaking about the house's history would invite the curse into their own homes, causing the men in their own families to get sick and die. So they fled. They didn't abandon the new job or the new town, just the cursed ground they had unknowingly settled on. They found a new place, but you can bet they did their homework this time. You know, this story really serves as a stark reminder. The history of a place is just as important as its location or its price, because sometimes a really low rent comes at the highest possible cost. So it's a question worth asking, isn't it? Because as this story shows, some memories don't just fade away, they wait.